Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Li Lang. My mom once asked me when I was a child, what do you think is the most painful experience one could have in his life? Toothache, I answered. No, my mom said, it's hunger. You could not imagine how painful it would be if you did not experience it. Yes, she was right. Hunger was a common painful memory for Chinese people for thousands of years. According to historical studies, from year 100 ABC to 1911, 1,829 famines happened in China. At least one famine, smaller or larger, happened every year. The latest disastrous famine happened in 1960. Millions of people died of hunger or malnutrition due to natural disasters and government policies failure. As I still remember, some rural families I visited in 1970s took congee as breakfast and lunch. Solid steamed rice was only available in dinner, not because they like congee, but because they have no enough rice. Acquiring enough food remained a challenge for Chinese people all the time. There were too many people and too little land. The population always grew faster than the arable land. According to statistics, there are 118 million hectares of arable land in China today, representing roughly 8% of the total of the world, while 14 billion Chinese make up 18% of the world's population. Some world's longest rivers run across China. They created vast farmland and were essential to Chinese agricultural activities. Those rivers were infamous for their capriciousness. The notorious Yellow River was even more dangerous. It carries a huge volume of silts downstream. It raised the riverbed and made the riverbanks vulnerable to flooding. Waterfall distribution and frequencies was unpredictable. Either too much water or too little water was destructive to the crop output. Most of Chinese famines in history were caused by flooding and drought. But locust plague and typhoon could also be destructive. Management of the rivers has been top priority for rulers since the birth of the country. Even today, every year, the policy guiding executive order from the central government has been on the issue of the agriculture since 1980s without exception. Famine can also be caused by social unrest and civil war. In 19th century, during the Taiping Rebellion, many farmers fled the conflict and left the farmland uncultivated. Agricultural production activities halted. Millions of people died of starvation during the Taiping Rebellions. Most Chinese people live in the Central Plain region. Once famine happened, there was no such thing as a rainforest as in Brazil or Indonesia for the wilderness surviving adventure. The only way of surviving out was 逃荒. In Chinese, it literally means famine fleeing. People begged their way to other regions where no famine happened, in the hope that they could survive the harsh winter without food and come back next spring to restart again. After so many years of famines, hunger was engraved deep in the memory of Chinese people. The refractions can be found easily in modern Chinese daily life. Eating remained the number one concern for the Chinese people. As a Chinese saying put it, 民以食为天. All social activities are about feast. Chinese New Year, festivals, celebrations, friends gathering, wedding, funerals, etc. People are offered more than they can eat. 10 dishes, even 20 dishes on a huge round table. It's a kind of psychological revenge of hunger memory. Very similar to the sugar in the Western countries, we found some foods like cake, ice cream, extremely sweet, probably because sugar used to be scarce, kind of luxury thing before. London was infamous for its bad weather. British people like to greet and start a conversation with weather topics. It is fine today, isn't it? But in China, not long ago, people greet each other by saying, "Have you eaten?" Don't be silly to think it's a hint that he wants to invite you for a dinner. But now this greeting is disappearing. It is well known that the Chinese eat everything. Chicken feet, chicken head, insects, snake, animals' organs like kidney, stomach, liver, brain. It even includes some animals unacceptable in other cultures like cat and dog. Even though today 99.99% of Chinese never eat cat and dog meat. But it should become more understandable when you know not long ago most of them remain in a constant starving condition, and so many people even die of starvation. Hunger experience were also reflected in modern Chinese language. Chinese use measure word for the expression of quantity. 5 persons in Chinese is 5个人, 5 individuals of persons. But when we talk about family or census, we say 5 mouths of persons in the family. Mouth becomes the first feature of a human. More examples. Population in Chinese is 人口. It consists of a character 人 person and 口 mouth. And household registry 户口. It consists of household and mouth. In 1971, Chairman Mao's first grandson was born. When his assistant brought him the good news, he kept silent for a few seconds, and then he said to himself, "This is another mouth that needs to be filled up." The priority and the first concern of a Chinese leader was always to take care of so many mouths widely open there in the country. 吃 means eat. It is a high-frequency character. Chinese use this character to make up tons of words and phrases, which meaning has nothing to do with eating. Here's a few examples. 吃惊 means surprise. 吃醋 jealous. 吃亏 lose in a deal. 吃紧 tight. 吃不消 unable to stand. 吃透 understand thoroughly. 吃苦 tough. 吃力 strainful. 吃不准 unsure. 吃官司 in a lawsuit. So many. Thank you for watching. See you next time.